Hi parents, this is lesson 2 in book B. In this week we're going to be working on page 6, 7, and 8 in the lesson book, and then also page 3 in the technique book. So we're leaving out the solo book again. This week we're not really doing anything too new, but what we are doing is working on those wrists. And even though it's not too new, if it takes your child 2 weeks to get through this lesson, it's okay. It takes some kids longer than others to get that wrist to do what you want and to be able to come back down. So ideally we want it to be able to do this in just 1 week, but if it takes 2 weeks, that's okay. This one is so important to be able to do that. If it takes us 2 weeks, we definitely will do that. So the first one is page 6, which is row, row, row your boat. Our goal with this is to be able to look at the slurs, to play it in rhythm, and to be able to have our wrist come up and then come back down without missing a beat. A way, if your child's having trouble with doing, like, how does this motion work? You can have them roll their wrists all the way up to the board on your piano, and that's where you roll forward. You can stand behind them and actually push their elbow forward gently to have their hand go this way, so they kind of get the idea. Their wrist, their hands and arms go this way, not up this way. It's actually more of a roll towards the back of the piano. And a way to say it out loud would be a bounce, roll, bounce, roll, bounce, roll, bounce, roll. And that's our motion. Okay, so when you start with row, row, row your boat, it's not swung like we normally sing it. So this one, you may even want to start with your metronome set at about 70 to go nice and slow. And I'm going to actually do that for you so you can see how slow to play it in the very beginning. We're going to need our hands in C position. We start with the right hand on C, and it starts with half notes. Half note, half note. Play, 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 play. Hold down, whole note, play, half note, half note, hold down, whole note, and then up. And then I wouldn't get any faster than 80. If your child can do it at 70, you can always move it up by 1 or 2 ticks whenever they play that. Until you get to about 80, there's no reason to play it too fast. And in fact, that'll probably take away from this. They won't be able to do this and come back down. Remember, this is like a shock absorber. Your wrist is used as a shock absorber. The purpose in doing this is so that the dampers in the piano, they fall gently to stop the sound. So when you do this, it helps that sound. They fall fast when you play staccato, and that's a different sound. We're looking for a different sound sometimes, but when you come off like this, it's actually a more gentle way to release slowly. So the move doesn't come from the fingers, it comes from the wrist. It works really well. The second concept we're going to be learning is the concept of seconds. This is an interval. A second just means we go from finger 1 to the second finger. I think that's where they came up with that. It means we don't skip any keys. We don't skip. We don't skip 2. We don't skip 3. We're not skipping. We play the one right next to it. So we're just teaching them a vocab word that they've been doing clear up until now, which is play the next one. And we want to play the phrase. They're going to have to watch with their eyes very closely. And it's okay for them to look at their fingers when they first start to play, when they first start to practice. It's after they've played it a couple of times and they've got the notes right, then we want to make sure we get their eyes up here so that their brain is coding it. They're coding what they're seeing to what their fingers are doing, and remind them that the piano doesn't move around, and as long as their hands are not moving, that it's going to work for them, because they're developing that picture in their mind of what the piano keys look like. So this one, seconds, it's just C, D, C, D, C, D, C, D, and then all the way up to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. They have to watch. you may want to stand over them and do what I do. Point, point, point to as they play it, because their eyes they probably haven't had enough practice keeping their eyes in place. It's hard to watch it when they feel like it's going fast. So you may need to point as they play, and that's okay. And then the other, oops, oh wait, I'm moving too quickly. We need to do gliding. This is the hard one. So this is the one that you want to make sure that they go very, very, very slowly. And notice at the end of each slur, we're going to come up. We're going to do a bounce roll on that D. So it's going to be C, bounce, roll, and then bounce, roll, bounce, roll, bounce, roll. And that's what each of these are. So they're going to play and come up. The second one is play and come up. So it's play, play up, play, play up. Now this is what the child's going to want to do. And then wait, wait, wait. We don't want them to wait. We want it to be, so it's nice and even. So it needs to be like marching, where they don't do this. The first time it's okay to do that because they're getting the move with their hand, how this works. And that's okay in the beginning, but what the goal is that they don't come up too far so they can come right back down onto the same note. So this one you'll have to watch, and you might have to say, when this note comes, you might have to say, bounce, roll, play, bounce, roll, play, bounce, roll. And then just keep it nice and steady. The left hand is the same. But this up and down movement is what we're looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up. All right, so that's the end of the lesson book. This will be the hard one. It's okay if we have to do that one for 2 weeks, but. And then in the technique book, here's where they're trying to teach us how this works. And just like it says, play slowly. So it's play, bounce, roll, bounce, roll. And now with these, the first note is actually a little stronger, and the next note is a little bit lighter, and it's a fraction of a hair shorter because we need a pause between the slurs. And then the left hand. That note because I'm trying to over exaggerate what my hand is doing to make sure that this hand comes up. Another thing with this, with the movement, it keeps the fingers in the hand more relaxed, and we need to always keep our hands more relaxed. We want them to be strong and secure, but with what we're playing, but we also need to keep some relaxation in it. It really helps with how it sounds with our tone quality as we advance. So those are what we need to play in the book this week. And then as far as the paperwork goes, if your child is not able to draw, maybe you want to draw for them. Maybe erase it and change it around, and have them just write in the letter. So you might have to, if they're not able to draw them on, that's okay. You can always do that. And so this, just follow directions on this one. This is also good for learning the names of the notes. This next one, these are all seconds. They talk about it being upside down. I don't think that they mean like upside down, like flip it upside down, like what you're seeing here. When I see this, I'm thinking backwards. C, D, E, F, G. If you read backwards, C, D, E, F, G. Well, that's backwards like that. I start using the word contrary motion. What this is contrary motion. You may remember the first time your child put their hands together and we expected them to do this parallel motion. Instead, they did. That's contrary motion. I think we're wired to do that more naturally. And that's contrary motion. I think that they can learn that word. Okay, and the next one, once again, we're just working on note spelling. and it's just drawing in the notes and writing what they are so they can continue practicing to learn that. Here's measuring seconds. This is either out of the theory or the Note Speller book as well. So it's going up. It just demonstrates it's line, space, because space to space is not a second, it's a third. But line, space, or space, line, when it's different in the very next note, it's a second. So that's a way that eventually when you're playing, you're going to look at that and see space, line. You're going to know it's a second. You're going to know it's the next one. This is actually 2 pages here. So it starts on one page and finishes there. There's 5 for this week. All right, and that's the work. Good luck.